Well, good morning, YouTube. As you can see, I'm on a ladder. The other day when I left the Padre Island, and it was pretty windy, and I'm driving along, going across a big bridge, and 4 lanes, and I was in the right-hand lane. I heard a little bit of a thump, nothing big, just, a thump, and glanced in my rearview mirror, thought maybe I ran over something, and I saw something flick into the other lane going in the other direction. So car behind me, nobody waved or pointed or anything like that to give me any clue that it was one of my solar cells. There was 2, now there's 1. It left 1 Z bracket and took the other 3. So I think what might have happened is the nut somehow came loose on this one, and the wind on that bridge got underneath it and picked it up and levered it loose. So it didn't hurt the wiring at all. It did took the Y connector with it, but there was no place. I could have pulled over when I got off the bridge, but there was no walkways, no safe way to get back up there. It didn't hit any other traffic. Luckily, there was nobody in there. Sorry, I'm still cutting over the cold. So, anyway, one of my friends on Schoolie Nation was able to point me at a guy near Houston who sells solar cells at a really reasonable price. So the one I lost was 180 watt 24 volt, and I was able to pick up a 300 watt 24 volt for with the Y connectors and the Z brackets for 240, which is a hell of a deal. And so I got to install that now. First thing I got to do is I'm gonna have to plug these holes, take up what's left of the adhesive, and clean up the mess that was left. I had removed them, if you remember, to make them so they tilt, so I have plugged holes before, but so we get that all taken care of, and we'll go from there. That's adhesive. I mean, it looked like that was easy. That wasn't the same stuff. That was just caulk. Somebody recommended to me that I use that 3M VR tape, because once you put stuff in, that's it. You don't even need screws. It'll stick forever. The trouble with that is I've got the Henry's on here. Henry's is a flexible paint. So anything I adhere to it is only going to adhere as well as the paint adheres to the metal underneath. So I don't trust Henry's to hold my solar cells on. So I'm going to be doing something a little different than the self-tapping screws and adhesive this time. But let me get this all cleaned up, and then we'll get on to that part. All right, before I go up on the roof, I want to attach these Z brackets. These are nice. They got little tabs to hold it, and they go on like that. The bolts they gave me for this are these, and as you can see, this head almost goes through. This is just thin aluminum. I don't trust that, so what I'm doing is I'm putting on these. They have a little bit bigger head. Still not quite as tight as I like, so I'm putting a washer on that and putting it through, so that's not going to pull through there. And I dropped it. I'm using these locking nuts on the end of this, but I'm also going to put this Loctite red thread locker on here, so there is no way that these nuts are going to back off once I have them on there. They're going to stay forever. And then I got a different way to attach this whole thing to the roof that I think is going to be better than the last time. Okay, so the screws they supplied me to hold it down are these self-drilling screws. Basically, that's what I had holding it down. I'm going to use these right now to mark the holes of, and then I'll take them out and I'll put in the other anchoring system in one in each corner. So let me get these in and then we'll go from there. If I could go back in time, or my next schoolie, I would put the solar on the roof before I did anything on the inside. That way I could bolt them right down through, big washers on the inside, lock these things right in. Fortunately, I don't want to really tear down my old ceiling, so I need some way to put a big anchor underneath. And what occurred to me is these. They're made for going into drywall. They fold up. You drill a 5/8 hole, push it down through it, it opens up, and then you tighten it up and this pulls against it. This is going to give me more surface area on the inside, because this actually does crunch down flat. A little bit better than those basically self-drilling sheet metal screws and adhesive that I had before. So I got to drill some big holes. I'm only going to put one of these in each corner, and then a sheet metal screw in the other hole. I think one of these in each corner is going to be enough. If I think two in each corner would be overkill. And that gives me some to redo the other panel. If I got to look at that and see if that's still holding up. So let me get drilling some big holes and we'll go from there. All right, it was a little bit of a struggle, but I got it in. So these are those big toggle bolts, and then they put in the self-drilling screws, because why not? But I think these are going to hold real well. They aren't going to back off, and I'll be able to tell. I'm still going to check. Now I just got to plug things in. If I remember, because I've got that amp meter down there, that's connected to the two negatives. So I've got to hook this Y in to there and together, and we will be all set to go. I don't mind doing it right now. It's almost sunset. I'm in the shade, so there's going to be minimal juice, if any, going through this right now. So I'm going to plug this all together, and then tomorrow we will, when we hopefully have a nice bright sun, we'll see how this is going. I did notice that when that panel pulled off and pulled the Y out of this one, it snipped off one of the ends. So I'm going to get some electrical tape and tape this up real good, just to help ensure that it stays in place. But there we go. New panel. There's the old one. There's a new one. Quite a bit bigger. I said the old one's 180 watt. The new one's 300 watt. So maybe that'll help a little bit on the days that are a little gray. All right, let me get that wrapped up, and then tomorrow we'll see how this is going. Well, you can see I'm pulling in only 3.5 amps. The batteries are pretty much charged up at this point. But this amp meter, where I have the selector switch, this is the rear panel. And you see it just barely moves the needle. And then the new front panel moves it just a little bit more. So they're both working. That's why I have this here. I do want to change this out for a 10 amp, because the 30 amp is just too big. I need something that'll read a little bit better. But anyway, looks like the new panel's working, and I'm back in business. So we'll see you later, YouTube. Hopefully it'll be less drama next time. We'll see you down the road. Bye.